we have some very interesting political election news. In the Texas 6th Congressional District Republican primary, this is two Republicans running against each other. The Trump-endorsed candidate lost, and it wasn't a huge blowout, but it was a loss. And this is our first signal about 2022, which is going to serve to inform what happens in 2024 from the standpoint of the Republican presidential candidate and whether that will be Donald Trump. Remember that we are working backwards now. In 2024, Republicans will need some candidate to run for president. The question is that going to be Donald Trump? Well, Trump running in 24 will be informed by how do the Trump-backed candidates do in November of 2022? How do Republicans do in November of 2022 in the House and the Senate? Well, to get to that, you have to start looking at some of the primaries that are taking place right now. And in the Texas 6th Congressional District, so far, Donald Trump has one loss. In that Texas Congressional District, Jake Ellzey, the non-Trump Republican, has defeated the Trump-backed rival Susan Wright. So chalk this up as a loss for Donald Trump. Let's take a look. Republican Jake Ellzey of Texas won a House seat on Tuesday night over a rival backed by Donald Trump, dealing the former president a defeat in a test of his endorsement power since leaving office. Ellzey's come from behind victory over Republican Susan Wright, the widow of the late Rep. Ron Wright, is a special congressional election runoff near Dallas, is likely to be celebrated by Trump antagonists who have warned against his continued hold on the Republican Party. Ellzey was carrying more than 53% of the vote in Texas's 6th congressional district, with results from almost all precincts reported. One of the things we've seen from this campaign is a positive outlook, a Reagan Republican outlook for the future of our country is what the people of the 6th district really, really want, Ellzey said to supporters. The runoff election came down to the two Republicans in a race to succeed Congressman Ron Wright, who in February became the first member of Congress to die after being diagnosed with COVID-19. Susan Wright, a Republican Party activist and widow of the late congressman, carried the endorsement of Trump into the special election runoff. A few differences in policy separated the candidates, giving the race in North Texas the feel of a Republican primary. Far from running on an anti-Trump platform, Ellzey did not try distancing himself from the twice impeached former president. He instead sought to overcome the lack of Trump's backing by raising more money and showing off endorsements, including that of Rick Perry. So this is actually a really big deal. In a sense, 2024 is now. And what I mean by that is we are getting into, although we still have a little while, this was a special runoff. We still have some months until they really get going. But we're starting to get into primaries for 2022, which are going to determine what happens in November of 2022, which will determine what happens in 2024. And Donald Trump already backing some primary candidates, and the first one here has lost. This was the Trump candidate, and they did not win. So this is, it's a sample size of one. We still don't know what it portends for the bigger idea of Donald Trump being a kingmaker in 2022. But this is already an interesting sign. And when I was interviewed by Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, a couple of weeks ago, Cohen said he doesn't think Trump is ultimately going to run. And the reason Trump won't run is it's going to be clear to Trump that he's not going to win if he runs in 2024. That's Michael Cohen's perspective. He may well be right. He's been right about many things, and he's been, not right about some things. If indeed Trump is going to be convinced that he's not going to win, part of it will be that the people he chooses, the people he backs for 2022, lose. And that is at least what we saw in the Texas 6th Congressional District. We'll have more coverage of that race and others that are upcoming on the David Pakman Show Instagram, which you can find at David Pakman Show. One of our sponsors is Four Sigmatic, the company best known for their delicious mushroom coffee. Four Sigmatic's mushroom coffee is organic, fair trade, single origin Arabica coffee with both lion's mane and chaga mushrooms. Chaga mushrooms have actually been shown to have potential in supporting the immune system in peer-reviewed studies. I've been drinking Four Sigmatic coffee a lot lately. It actually doesn't taste anything like mushrooms. It just tastes like any delicious coffee. but it's really easy on my stomach, doesn't give me any jittery feeling or a midday crash. And they have over 20,000 5-star reviews. And best of all, if you don't love it, you'll get 100% of your money back because they stand behind their product. You've got nothing to lose by giving it a try. Four Sigmatic is giving my audience up to 40% off and free shipping when you go to foursigmatic.com/Pacman. The link is right underneath this video.